This video will show you how to put together the Christmas Reindeer friend card, which is an SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. Here's a look of all our Christmas friends cards together. So now I'll show you the pieces to the card. So we have the card pieces on the left, and you'll want to go ahead and fold those on the score lines, the front and the insert. Then in here we have some tags, so you can either use the blank tag and add your own sentiment. You don't have to use the tag either, or there is a printable Merry Christmas tag included with the file. And then we have all the little pieces to the reindeer in here, so I don't get them lost. Also, we have the pieces to the bulbs, so those are in there, and then the bulbs pieces are in there as well. Now I'm going to ink a little bit with the Walnut Stain Distress Oxide. So we'll go ahead and start with the panel. So I like to kind of get a little bit on the paper. I always have a little scrap piece of paper. And then it's just blending in. So it's just a matter of knowing your ink and what you're dealing with. But I like it with it for a little edge. So we'll go ahead and finish this, and then we'll go on to the next step. So here's the piecing part, where we're going to put together all these little elements. So we're putting together the bulbs. So we're just going to add a little glue to the bottom of the silver pieces where the bulb should be placed. You could just put one color or all three colors. I like to add a little color and coordinate it with my paper. Or you could put all one color. So just know that. But these are supposed to be bulbs. Then we're going to go ahead and put that little really light thin strip of red to cover it at the top. Look like it's kind of hanging from a red, maybe like a string or something. So now you can see how I have it in order of which way it's layered for the reindeer. And we're going to go ahead and layer it from right to left. So we're going to go ahead and put this caramel piece on. We want to line up where the mouth is on the white. So line that up on the left and right, and you'll see these little cut marks. That'll help to place the collar. And we'll go ahead and black would be next. You just want to make sure you line it up. Always start at either the top or bottom, and then make sure it's lined up on the sides. Then we're going to go ahead and take this ink and just ink the edge a little bit so the white's not as obvious. We could have done it on the white itself. So I'm just taking the same color I used earlier. And then we're going to do that a little bit there too. So I didn't ink the edges here because those are visible. So I just wanted a little bit of the edges inked on the actual body that you'll be able to see on the arms and the legs. You won't be able to see, and the ears will be the other thing. The face will cover the rest of it. So let's go ahead and just line this up. And you want to just make sure the place to line it up, and you just have to put a little bit of glue around those ears, is to focus on the ears and the legs and the arms to get it lined up. So you just want to make sure you just put a little bit of glue on those ears. You just don't want it showing through. And I'm using coffee paper on the background, so for that dark brown. And then we're going to go ahead and put this on. We could have put the hooves on, but we're going to put it afterwards because we can still get to it. But just line that up in the middle. We just put a dot of glue for the nose. And I'm going to use my Silhouette Pick Me Up tool to easily pick it up and place it. It just has a little sticky at the end. It's good for really small pieces. Now I'm going to add a little white using this white Sakura jelly roll pen. And I always test on my paper before I do it because it doesn't work very well on the textured side. So it's hard to do textured, but I do my best. So that's the reason you see that black paper. Now we can add some glue, and I'm just getting rid of the excess glue to add the little yellow bell. So we'll just line it up using our pick-me-up tool. And we're going to place it shortly, but we're going to go ahead and put the little hooves on. So they're all the same size. So you can just add a little glue at the bottom. You could always do it on the back of the hoofs too. And then it's really handy. I'm just flipping it over to make sure that the texture side is up. So it gets you easy to place it. So it has a little sticky at the end if you haven't used the little pick-me-up tool. You don't want much out because it could get on your paper, so I always kind of get the excess off the top first. But there's other tools like that. I think We Are Memory or something like that. They have one too. Anyways, I don't know. I've had it for so many years. But it's nice and handy. And there's tools out there like that. Let's see how much glue's on my fingertips. Crazy. So now you want to go ahead and we're going to just put a little line of glue here underneath those cut lines, which will help us place this. So you don't want to put too much glue on the back because you don't want it showing. So I'm just lining it up. And there it is, and you can get the excess glue off if you need. Now we'll put together the card. So here are the card pieces, and you can see I already folded it. And you want to go ahead and fold them, the tabs back and everything on the score lines. And then we have the panels on the right, and you can see the panels at the top. So we're just going to go ahead and add glue to this. Careful around the antlers. Is that what it? Anyways, you want to go ahead and add glue to that. And we're going to place the reindeer. So you just want to line it up. So I'm going to add just a little bit of glue there because I don't know how far to go down and I don't want it showing on the insert. So I'm going to line it up. You want to line it up at the antlers and around the ears to get it lined up properly. So don't press really hard until you have it. Don't set it down until you have it in place. So that's the trickiest part on that one, but it's really not that difficult. So you have an option with this panel. You can go ahead and wait to put it on so it'll hide the tabs when you put together the card, or you can go ahead and center it before. I don't think you really see the tabs on it, so I say go ahead and put it on before because it's easier. And you would also glue on the back panel too if you wanted to, the optional back panel. So let's go ahead and glue this on. So I'm just going to center it, and I'm centering it on the side that I inked. Then we're not going to add the back optional panel because it's a light card, and I most likely, when it's a lighter card base, I usually just write on the back. And while we have it here, we're just going to go ahead and add these bulbs. So we're just going to glue that on. So you just want to add a little bit of glue so it's easy to place, and you're going to place it towards the top. Just make sure you don't go above the top so it fits in the card, or the left or right. Just make sure that it's within actually on the actual card. Now that that's done, we can go ahead and start putting together the card. We're going to flip this upside down and add glue to this little tab on the right here. So just make sure you have it folded. And then we're just going to line up the left side edge up to the tab fold. So you just don't want to go over the fold. And then you want to make sure it's lined up at the bottom as well. So lined up on the left and the bottom. And then you could place that optional back panel if you'd like. And do not forget to hit like or thumbs up on our video as it helps us, and or subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. You just have to hit that little bell to the right and it'll let you know when we have new content. So now that you can see, this is how the card's going to go together. So we want to flip that upside down, so make sure you can see the panel on the left facing you. And you're going to add glue to that right tab. And you're going to line up the edge of that right tab to the left of that fold. So just a little bit to the left. You don't need to go like all the way to the middle. We want to create a gap so it'll stand up okay. So that creates almost equidistance. Then we want to line it up on the bottom. So you want to make sure that the bottom part of the insert is lined up with the front of the card. And once that's set in place, you can fold it, that part like that, to the left, and then lift up this tab. And then it's just going to go flat. So you're just going to flatten it. And it's going to place it right where it needs to be. So make sure it's flat. And then just make sure it's lined up on the bottom. And once that's set in place, all we're going to have to do is add glue to the right tab there. And then fold over that back panel. You may have to adjust it a little bit to make sure it's lines up at the bottom. But that's it. It's super easy. Like basically that's the card put together. We just need to add that front panel. So we're going to go ahead and just glue these together. So it'll just be centered. And again, you don't need to use my tag. It's just making it easy for those that don't want to think about it. But you could add anything, any sentiment on the front using your own files. I just wanted to have an easy mix and match of 4 cards so you could utilize it across 4 cards. So we're just going to add glue right there, and you're going to flatten it. And what we want to do is line it up at the top so it's centered. So you want to make sure, might have to jiggle it in place, but you want to make sure that it's lined up at the top, at the arch, and then it'll center it perfectly. Next, we just need to add the tag. So I'm going to take the backing. I do prefer Scotch foam tape, so I did put that in the details, product details of what I've used. Even though this is different, Scotch foam tape is much easier to use. And we're just going to center that. That finishes it. So I just wanted to note what I used on to make it glossy on the ornaments. So it's called Nuvo Crystal Drops Morning Dew, or I think it's Morning Dew. Yeah, it's a clear drop that I put, and it just took time to give it that shiny, to dry enough to give it that shiny feel. So it's a nice little embellishment. So that completes it. So I'm going to show you it fits into a standard A2 envelope. And when you're sliding it in, you just want to be careful if you have like foam tape or anything, it might get stuck. So you have to carefully slide it in, but it fits well. So here's the finished card, and as you can tell, it's just kind of a fun, whimsical card. And here's the different version I'm going to show you. It is a version with that you see on the website, but I changed the color of the tag, and so there's some variation you can do to this file. I hope you enjoyed this project, and thanks for watching.